It's a question that has intrigued people for centuries. Are we alone, or is there life elsewhere in the universe? Mars is one of the prime candidates for life within our solar system, but this hinges on the presence of water. The European Space Agency's Mars Express spacecraft, which began orbiting the red planet on Christmas Day 2003, has discovered large amounts of frozen water at the North Pole. The many scientific instruments on Mars Express, analyzing the Martian surface and atmosphere, also reveal atmospheric methane. As this gas leaves the Martian atmosphere very quickly, there must be a continuous fresh source, which could be from geothermal activity, or, more excitingly, from some sort of microscopic life.
One of the major questions in astrobiology today is there life on Mars? Mars is a very extreme planet. It's very cold, it has a thin atmosphere, so there's very high levels of damaging ultraviolet radiation that would kill any life on the surface. It's also a planet that's covered in asteroid and comet impact craters that have pummeled the surface of the planet throughout its history. Having said that, we do know it's a planet that may have had liquid water, and it may even have liquid water today that's necessary to sustain life. So if you want to answer the question, is there life on Mars, the best place to go to is the frozen, cold polar deserts of the Earth. So the places you want to go to are the Antarctic and the Arctic. Antarctica is a very extreme environment. It might look like it's covered in snow and ice, but most of the water is locked up in that snow and ice. Very little of it is available as liquid water. And so there's very little water, and it's very, very cold as well. But despite these extreme conditions, we know that Antarctica is covered in life. We find microbes in rocks, we find them under rocks, and we find them in the soil. One particularly interesting community is a microbe that lives inside the rock and is protected by a lichen that grows above it and screens out the damaging ultraviolet radiation that would otherwise kill the microbes. We've also made similar discoveries in the Arctic, the other extreme of the Earth up near the North Pole. And at 75 degrees north, there's an asteroid crater that was formed 23 million years ago. So this is an even more Mars-like environment because it's like the asteroid and crater pummeled surface of Mars. And what we find up there is that microbes manage to live inside the rocks. We find some microbes living on the surface, but they have to produce a sun cream, if you like, a natural sun cream, to protect themselves from ultraviolet radiation. But the microbes living inside the rocks, they don't have to produce this sun cream because they get the protection of the rocks. So here we find in an extreme polar desert, in an asteroid crater, life surviving inside rocks. One of the things we're doing in the Arctic is doing our science in simulated spacesuits to prepare for the day when one day humans might go to Mars and look for life in rocks.
And that day is already being planned. Aurora is the European Space Agency's new space exploration program. Stage 1. ExoMars is a robotic mission to investigate the existence of life on the planet. Mars Express has already provided information that could help Aurora identify water reservoirs, as well as the composition and stability of the planet's surface, factors that are important when landing a spacecraft. The program could eventually send a human mission of up to 8 astronauts to the planet. The round trip would take 2.5 years. 6 months to get there, 18 months to study the planet, and 6 months to travel back.